Hello there. Thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard. And yep, here today is rock's first supergroup, right? Well, that's what they were certainly touted as in 1969, although Crosby, Stills and Nash appeared, the very same year, but just with much less fanfare, at least initially, because you just couldn't beat the star power, and the press just loved the fact that Blind Faith had superstar guitarist Eric Clapton in the group, so they got all the initial press. But boy, here's this lovely, marvelous, black and white, glossy paper concert poster measuring roughly 15 by 22 inches. And this is for the fifth date on Blind Faith's 1969 American tour, their only tour ever. In fact, that's really a fun trivia question I'd like to pop that I've heard about Billboard magazine. What's the only group to ever have their first album go to #1 and then they broke up and never released another? Yeah. That's Blind Faith. Talk about not really needing the success, right? So for their 6-week American tour, there was no tour blank poster ever devised. So there were, we're left with lots of, creative individual one-off concert posters like this. So it's really fun to see how all the different promoters handled them all over North America. And this is one of the better ones, I will say. You've got this fun reversed out image there of Blind Faith, the white, black, and black, white. Pretty neat. Some of the Blind Faith concert posters just showed like a British Union Jack and nothing else. So this really is creative artistically compared to that. This is the only one also I've seen that uses the term supergroup, which is pretty cool. And it's certainly the only one I've seen that name checks the individual bands that each member came from. So that means this is the only BF concert poster I've seen that mentions Cream, and it does it not just once but twice. So that's really nice. Okay, so let's take this thing from left to right, if you will. We've got there in the upper left-hand corner, The Electric Circus Presents, in fun electrified lettering there, Friday, July 18th at 8 p.m. in Varsity Stadium. And that was in Toronto, Canada, but no need to mention Toronto either there or anywhere on the poster. Such was the nature of localized concert poster advertising. And then in the second column there, look at those nice words, the supergroup of all time. Now, of course, that was a brand new term in 1969 for a practice that would become very commonplace starting the next decade. But were they the supergroup of all time? Kind of fun to ponder that, us music fans. Well, heck, they had that term, that challenge, had stiff competition even in the late 60s. Never mind moving forward into the 70s. I mean, you had the aforementioned Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young that, got going about the same time, the summer of 1969. In fact, it's kind of funny to think that Blind Faith broke up after a couple of months and Crosby, Stills and Nash with Young were still an ongoing entity almost half a century later. But anyway, there was even a stronger supergroup that preceded Blind Faith and had Eric Clapton in it. And can you name that? And of course I'm not talking about Cream. Nope, I'm talking about John Lennon's Dirty Mac, right? December 1968 with John Lennon in it, as well as Eric Clapton, Keith Richards of the Stones, and Mitch Mitchell, drummer for the Jimi Hendrix Experience. The big difference being, granted, they got together for just one song. Not one album or one tour, just one song. So, in that second column, you do have Blind Faith there in that Futura black font, which was ever so present and popular in the 1960s. Pardon me. Then in the third column, you have the band members there presented top to bottom in the same order they are on the poster from left to right. And that, of course, being Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, Stevie Winwood, as he was known at the time, before he shortened it to Steve, and then Rick Gretsch on bass. Now, it's kind of funny there. Rick Gretsch is obviously plucking a bass. That's pretty evident. But, what's that Eric Clapton is holding? Isn't that interesting? Take a look at that. And take a look at those, right? There's 4 tuning pegs and thick strings on whatever Clapton's playing, and so that pretty strongly resembles a bass. Now, whether that was a faux pas by the poster artist, or he was just working off a picture in which Clapton had indeed just picked up a bass guitar, I do not know. Then in the third column, you do have the opening acts there. You've got Delaney and Bonnie and Friends, who Clapton grew quite close to, of course, and was really fond of them. In fact, heck, Eric wrote in his autobiography, going on after Delaney and Bonnie was really, really tough. because I thought they were miles better than us. Whoa, wow, that's something else. However, it's a general consensus that no producer was ever able to capture Delaney and Bonnie on record in any kind of performance that matched their live performances. So they really, they peaked. They were their best on stage. And then below them, you do have Taste on there, the Irish band with, of course, Rory Gallagher, a legendary guitar player. So get right in on that. And then in the upper right, above Gretsch there, some of the ticket details. Promotion by Dream Machine Limited. All seats, reserved tickets now on sale. $5.50 down to $3.50. I assume that meant Canadian dollars. And then locations are fun. A&A Records. Electric Circus on 99 Queen Street East. That was a local rock music nightclub that was too small for an act this size. And you've got Attractions, Ticket Office, and Eaton's on College Street. And then check that out. That's unusual for a 60s concert poster and a sponsor, an advertising logo there for Pepsi. But Blind Faith did kind of do that. There's another one that has a beer, I think it's Falstaff beer, on their St. Louis concert poster. So they were one of the first to do that. So, Blind Faith, well, Eric Clapton unfortunately was unhappy, so, the group broke up. And interestingly enough, though, just 2 months later, Clapton was back at this very venue, Varsity Stadium in Toronto, Canada, and he came back with his buddy John Lennon and the Plastic Ono Band, and they did a concert that was immortalized on vinyl that most of us Beatle fans have. I'm talking, of course, about Live Peace in Toronto, 1969. But it's Blind Faith with this concert poster, and truth be told, the very first concert I ever went to as a 16-year-old was Blind Faith in Santa Barbara, California, and I'll probably blog that poster later on. This one's better, though. This one's great. Of course, that one's very psychedelic. This is more elements of both, but wonderful, wonderful concert poster by a very important and very short-lived group in Eric Clapton's history. Thanks a lot for dropping by. Have a good day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.